Good day, YouTube. It is the 19th of January, 2021, and kind of took yesterday off to take a breath and learn a little bit about the 302 engine in my 1966 Ford F100 shop truck. And we've made significant progress on information. Let me explain what's going on and get you up to speed. So first off, I bought two different sets of timing chain and gears, both of which were wrong. I bought the first set with the cam and lifter set. Online, I reached out to the company that sold it to me, and they said they'd put one in the mail from 60 miles away yesterday. There's a very good chance I'll see that today. I'm hoping that it's the correct one. I did send them pictures of the right ones and the one they sent wrong. I'm hoping that they get it right, but you never know. They're parts people, not mechanics. Okay, so I'm hoping that gets corrected today, and later today or tomorrow we get to put the timing set on. The other big issue, probably bigger issue that I had, was, remember the nuts on the rocker studs were finger tight until they impacted the rocker arm, and I just felt that was wrong, and I ordered new nuts, and they came and they were exactly the same. I had went to the parts store and I bought nylock nuts and washers and put them on there, adjusted the valves like I knew to do, and I run the engine quite a bit, actually. Well, I didn't drive the car or anything, but we ran it, idled it, revved it, all that jazz. Seemed to be okay. And then the correct nuts arrived, that I had ordered, and they didn't fit any different than the first set. So I was really struggling, so that's when I decided to go ahead and put a cam and timing chain, new lifters and all that in it. Got all those parts in and started installing, and realized that didn't improve the situation. I still had nuts that were that would bottom out during the valve adjustment. Fast forward to yesterday, I had made a deal with a guy on the Oregon coast to purchase another 302 engine. The engine that we're looking at now is believed to be a 1974. This engine that I picked up yesterday is supposed to be a 1973. It's also supposedly was just rebuilt, and it has 1,500 miles on it. It had an oiling issue, and it has scored #1 cylinder. I took my calipers quickly and measured the bore, and it's a 4-inch bore, dead-on 4-inch bore, which means this is a stock motor. It's never been bored or rebuilt. I think what I have here is something very good. The heads, oil pan, chrome valve covers, lifters, push rods, everything is here. Might be a very good candidate for to build a roller motor or something cool for the truck down the road. But in the meantime, I was going to use it to measure everything in the valve train and see what the heck I've got that's such a mismatch. So let me explain what I have found out. A couple of days ago, I made a request to join a Ford small block 302 Windsor group on Facebook, and that request was approved yesterday, and I posed the question about my valve train to all the members of the group. And as I got up this morning and started reviewing a number of responses, I got everything back that I ever tried. And then a few people went, whoa, wait a minute, this engine is a 1974. The valves were not adjustable in 1974. I'm like, oh, you're kidding. But that makes perfect sense, of course. This is why the nuts on the engine can be threaded by hand, because they're not designed to be in the middle of that threaded stud. They're designed to be torqued. And that's why when I got the new cam installed and started adjusting the valves again, and I was only giving them a quarter of a turn preload, that many of them at that point were bottoming out in that, quarter, 3/8 of a turn kind of thing. But that's what they're supposed to do. Click. I didn't know that any small block board had non-adjustable rocker arms, but now I do. The word is there was a few years, including possibly that 1973 engine that came out of a Bronco, I was told, that we just looked at. It might be exactly the same, which would have made it a good candidate for me to start measuring stuff, and I had to come right back to everything's perfect. But I've answered the question, and that is such a relief. I sure appreciate the folks on the groups page for helping a guy out that just doesn't know. I don't have a ton of experience with these small block Fords, but I certainly would have never guessed. I'd have bet a week's wages, since I'm not working, on the fact that they were always adjustable. But guess they're not. So we can move forward now. We can get the rocker arms torqued. I'm still going to go through them because I'm a little hesitant, and kind of take the lash out and then see how many turns, quarter turn, half turn, 3/4 of a turn. It's all good. I've seen, everybody has their own opinion on what the preload should be. These are going to be whatever torque is, but I want to be sure that they all have the lash out, and that they're not, really loading the lifters, just for peace of mind. But I really feel like, oh, man, this is perfect. I just didn't know, and probably the previous owner didn't know, and how could we know? So there we go. That's the answer, and I hope this helps somebody else out down the road. I wish there had been something online for me to find that answer, but you know what? You figure it out along the way, and sometimes that's the fun of wrenching on stuff, is figuring out what the issues are and how to overcome them. So we're there. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all torqued down, and at that point I can proceed to install the new, to me, intake manifold and carburetor, and get as much stuff cleaned up and ready to go as I can, and then hope that the timing set shows up, and then really keep my fingers crossed that it's the right one, or I'm back to square one on that deal and more delays. So let me get to work. I got the heater going. Man, it was like 27 degrees this morning, and I'm not getting real anxious out here in the cold, but I got my heater going. That's the best heater in the world for working out here. It's just super warm. So let's go to work. All right, well, we've made some progress today. Not huge progress. We might still be working at it. It took about an hour to get all the gasket stuff scraped off of that slightly used intake manifold. But like I say, it is what it is. You just got to take time to do what you got to do. I went through the valve studs on this side. I got 3/4 of a turn of lash on cylinders 2, 3, and 4. I did have to put one washer under each nut to achieve that. I'm okay with that. So I really can't do anything more to get timing chain on it. And I ran home a little bit ago, got some other freight, but the mailman hadn't got there yet, and so I don't know that I'll get that timing chain today or not. And it's not trackable because he sent it out, whatever. Anyway, so we got the intake manifold on. I took time to clean and paint all the bolt heads. I anti-seized everything when I installed it. I ran through each, started from the middle and just kind of worked my way around when I was tightening bolts. I did that 5 times to get that manifold sucked down. Used obviously new gaskets on the heads, and I used right stuff on both end gaskets. I didn't put gaskets in, I just used right stuff, kind of piled it up, and it kind of squished out, which is what it's supposed to do, so that should be a great seal there. I do not have an update. Okay, I'm going to be square with you on my radiator. the guy put in charge of ordering that for me failed to order it. Was still in my shopping cart. I didn't pull the trigger on it or hit the right button. Yes, it was me. I did it. I forgot it. The good thing is, I'm in Oregon and it is in Southern California, which should mean I could get that in 3 days if they ship it today. So I went to check on everything this morning and I went, oh man, you're kidding me. I didn't. Yep, I didn't. So there it is. So we got a new carburetor on. Obviously we can't do fuel pumping stuff yet. Tomorrow I can work on the throttle cable, the choke cable, which is just dangling there. I did get a manual choke carburetor. And straighten up some wiring. I got the brake light switch. We tested that, did a little video on that. So the switch is bad, got the new one. Got the oil pressure light switch. That is not it. That looks new and it might be perfectly good, but the gauge was only reading like 15 psi. Obviously electric gauge, and I don't know if that's the right one or not. So did the right thing, ordered another one that is specific for this truck. It is a factory gauge, so that should be the right one. What else have we got? Depending on what parts come in tomorrow, obviously I can clean up the water neck, put the new thermostat in, kind of get it ready, finish cleaning up bolts, maybe paint bolt heads and the throttle spring and all of that jazz. The distributor hold down, which is sitting in there. This purple ZEP industrial cleaner, if you leave those bolts with the painted heads in there long enough, it pretty much strips the paint off too. That's kind of handy if you leave them in long enough. I was reading through the cam break-in specifications from the manufacturer. This is a engine probe, made in USA camshaft. It's like 47 lift and 492 lifts, pretty close to that anyway. It does talk about what kind of oils and stuff to use. Where does that list? There it is. So it recommends Della 400, Delvac, which are and Rotella. Those are basically diesel oils. I know I've gotten flack from people before for been using diesel oil for as long as I can remember, and I keep a bunch of it handy. But Della 400 is got enough zinc and stuff in it to deal with your flat tappet cam. So 369, there's 12 gallons of it. It goes on sale. We purchase it, keep it on shelf for just this purpose. I got a ton of Ford oil filters too, so we are definitely going to change the oil as soon as I get that engine sealed up, because of miscellaneous stuff that has fell down into the oil pan or galleries or whatever, so we'll definitely do that. But the cam break-in, back to that, says basically, get the thing running, get up 2,000 RPM for 20 minutes, and we'll go with that. And we might, just run it here in the shop, run it around a little bit, just put an hour or two on it, and then change it out again. So tomorrow I can do things like, paint the water pump, get it ready. This is if the timing set doesn't come in, just, stuff to do to stay busy and productive. We got the oil pressure setting unit and the master cylinder brake light switch to replace. We could probably slip the dipstick back in after the timing cover is. We got timing cover goes back on. Clean up the fuel pump. We don't need to paint it, but we do need to clean it. I'm not putting the fan back on, but I should clean up the fan pulley, harmonic balancer, throw a little paint on it, as well as the bottom pulley. Do something different for a steel fuel line. That flare nut thing is shot. I had to use vice grip to get it off, and it's fairly ugly, so I might make a new hard line, so on and so forth. You can get the heater hoses, the old ones, off of there, and maybe new ones half on there, waiting for all the front stuff to go on the motor. etc. We got hoses waiting for a radiator that just got ordered, and I did get a new alternator because when we fired this thing up, that alternator was screaming. Well, it wasn't screaming, it was making noise. The front bearing is gone. Might just as well replace it. It's like 40 bucks. So yeah, take that one in and get my core back, but I elected to leave it with all the wires connected so I can do a one wire at a time because it did work. Don't want to mess it up. All right, gang. I think we'll just go ahead and end this video and kind of start new in tomorrow. I'm very happy that we figured out the valve train, that these are non-adjustable. 1974 Ford 302 has non-adjustable rocker arms. They are to be torqued. We don't really know. I don't really know the torque spec. I was told to be cautious because they are pressed in studs into the head. So I basically just used a short ratchet and just made them, you know, real tight with one hand, so to speak. That'll be fine. Got to finish, you know, setting the, I say set the lash, but checking for lash when I get the cam in it and I can turn the motor over. So where it sits right now, the timing chain and gears will go right on. So that's good. So gang, I appreciate you watching the video. Hang around and watch another one. Show a friend my channel. That'd be awesome. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Give me a thumbs up on the way out if you would.